Oh, +1 counter. So you put another +1 counter there. Another +1 counter there. Oh my god, this is going off. Okay, evasion. We get a Farah. The Farah comes in. Another +1 counter. Let's put it on the Farah. And another +1 counter right there. Oh my god. I think I'll play a Calix. Calix sounds pretty good. Okay, target that creature. Target that creature again. Attack for 5 with lifelink. Pretty sweet. Okay. Now we will take action. And we're going to put Shelter by Ghost on Calix. And use that shelter to eat your Enigma Jewel. Then we're going to put another +1 counter here. And another +1 counter there. This is a little silly. I like it, but it's still silly. So if you've been playing Standard Arena at all over the last few weeks, you very likely have run into what's being called the Auras deck. Now this deck comes in multiple flavors. You may have seen red-white, or you may have seen white-black, but the theme remains the same. You play a bunch of small creatures, play aggressively, and you play some very key auras to get yourself to victory. Now, what I have for you today is neither of those, but it's a new twist on an old favorite. Let's go take a look at it. So, what we have for you today is a new take on the old green-white enchantments deck. Now, the old version of this deck that we saw last rotation was filled to the brim with a lot of like really cheap, really efficient creatures, a bunch of pump spells, things like that, and other synergies for all of your enchantments. Now, the problem with that deck is that about 80% of the deck rotated, but one thing stayed, one thing very important to the deck, and it is Calix, Guided by Fate. Constellation. Whenever Calix, Guided by Fate, or another enchantment you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Whenever Calix or an enchanted creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may create a token that's a copy of a non-legendary enchantment you control. Do this only once each turn. So, rather than playing all of the old cards that have rotated, we're playing a whole new suite of very sweet enchantments that we just got in Duskmourn. So let's take a look at it. So, first up we have Ethereal Armor, 1 white mana aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control and has first strike. Sweet. We have Optimistic Scavenger. Not an enchantment, but triggers off of enchantments coming into play. You get a +1/+1 counter whenever you play an enchantment or unlock a room. So, it puts a +1/+1 counter on any creature. Royal Treatment. This is not an enchantment, but it leaves an enchantment token behind if the spell resolves. Target creature you control gains hexproof until end of turn. Create a Royal Roll token attached to that creature. And the token is a +1/+1 Ward 1 enchantment that goes on the creature. Really cool effect. Now, we also have Fear of Surveillance. Fear of Surveillance is a new card from Duskmourn. It is a 2/2 for 2 mana with Vigilance, and whenever it attacks, you get to Surveil 1, which I really like for getting excess lands off the top of your deck. You don't want to be drawing into like your 5th or 6th land with a deck like this, unless you're getting into the mid to late game. After that, we have 3 copies of Ossification, a great enchantment. Bear in mind, this enchantment is an aura. It enchants a land when it comes into play. Then you have Shelter by Ghosts. This is pretty much the best aura in the entire deck, and it is really the reason why this deck exists. It says, 2 mana, enchantment aura, enchant creature you control. When Sheltered by Ghosts enters, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls. And that's not creature, that's not planeswalker, that's non-land permanent. Until Sheltered by Ghosts leaves the battlefield. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0, lifelink, and Ward 2. That Ward 2 makes putting on a creature It makes it into a really tough to deal with creature. I hate seeing this on the opposite side of the table, but man, does it feel good to play. After that, we have Invasion of Theros. Now, this is not an enchantment, but it plays with your enchantments really well. So, Invasion of Theros is a 3-mana battle with 4 counters on it. And what happens is when you play it, you search your library for an aura, a god, or a demigod card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. So, we're not going to be getting gods with this. We're going to be getting auras with it. We're going to be getting ethereal armor. We're going to be getting ossification, sheltered by ghosts. All of these really effective cards are going to be dug up using Invasion of Theros. And on the backside, if you ever beat the enchantment or the battle rather than just going face with this deck, you get Ephara Ever Sheltering. She's a 4/4 legendary enchantment creature god. Ephara Ever Sheltering has lifelink and indestructible as long as you control at least 3 other enchantments. That's going to be effective almost every time it hits the table. Whenever another enchantment you control enters, draw a card. Pretty good. Okay, after that we have 3 copies of another new enchantment creature. It is Enduring Innocence. It's a 2/1 with lifelink for 3 mana, and it reads, whenever 1 or more other creatures you control with power 2 or less enter, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. When Enduring Innocence dies, if it was a creature, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. It's an enchantment. So if it dies, it goes to the graveyard, comes back into play as an enchantment. It comes in as an enchantment and triggers Optimistic Scavenger and triggers Calix. It also triggers the Ephara draw a card trigger. It's like really good effect. Also, it's an enchantment creature on its first form too. So you get all of these really great comes into play triggers. We're also playing 2 copies of Enduring Vitality. This is a 3/3 with Vigilance for 3 that reads, creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. The adding mana part is not that important. It can come into play in some niche cases, but we're really playing it because it is, just like Enduring Innocence, an enchantment creature that comes back when it dies, giving its abilities to your team. Then we already read Calix. Calix is the MVP of this deck, and this and Shelter by Ghosts and Optimistic Scavenger, like those are the MVPs of the deck. That's why each of them are 4-ofs in the deck. These are like the non-negotiables. Then we have 2 copies of Beza. Beza is not an enchantment, but it is an absolute value card. For 4 mana, you get a 4/5 Elemental Elk. And when Beza Bounding Spring enters, create a treasure token if an opponent controls more land than you. You gain 4 life if an opponent has more life than you. And you create 2 1/1 blue fish creature tokens if an opponent controls more creatures than you. Then draw a card if an opponent has more cards in hand than you. So it's an absolute value generator. If you are behind on board, in hand, in life, it does so much for you. So I think it earns at least a 2-of spot in this deck. Then your last 2 cards are enchantments. This is Overlord of the Hauntwoods. It is a 6/5 with an impending cost of 3 mana. Now, impending means you can play it for its an impending cost, which is only 3, and it comes in as an enchantment, not a creature. And at the end of every turn, you remove an impending counter from the Overlord until they're all gone. When it's finally gone, then it transforms and becomes the creature form. However, when you play it for its impending cost, you still get the enters effect. So if you play this on 3, it'll come into play and create an Everywhere token for you, which is a land that generates 1 mana of any color, and it counts as all 5 basic land types. So it's a really, really good card. It also makes more when it attacks, but that'll be for later on in the game. After that, you have Overlord of the Mistmoors. all the same stuff as the other Overlord, except this one generates 2/2/1 flying moth creatures when it comes into play and when it attacks. So a little bit different in theme, but still fits, and is also an enchantment. So there you go. That's the deck. It's enchantments, it's small to mid-sized creatures, it's decent control in the form of ossification, shelter by ghosts, and protection with royal treatment, and it's a lot of fun. So I've been playing this deck for the last couple days, and I've been having an absolute blast with this deck. This is probably the most fun deck I've played all season, and I think I'm going to keep playing this deck. So I'm going to showcase a few games for you, and then we'll get to the post game right after that. So let's go do it. Do you think token spam with Dollhouse Factory could be viable, or am I being smooth brain? I've had success with it. I'm fairly low ELO. Honestly, I think token spam absolutely can work so long as you build around it. If you can build around your game plan, you should not have any issues whatsoever. Let's play Calix. Alright, Calix comes in, +1 counter on the Optimistic Scavenger, and also on the Scavenger. Because, like, look at the deck that we're playing right here. It's like, the typical deck like this is either Boros or Borisov. We're playing something that most other people aren't playing right now. Just to try and get a proof of concept for it. So long as you have a game plan when you are going to build your deck, if you've got enough support for the plan that you're trying to build, you really shouldn't have too much issue. But again, like, you can only do as good as the tools that you have available. Okay, let's go and get Invasion of Theros. Let's see here. Do you want Sheltered Ghosts or Ethereal Armor? I think I want Ethereal Armor because I can cast it right now. This is looking pretty good. Here. Optimistic Scavenger will go there. Calix will go there. Alright. Calix, create a token that's a copy of a non-legendary enchantment you control. Take action. I will attach Ethereal Armor to that creature. And +1 counter. So put another +1 counter there. Another +1 counter there. Oh my god, this is going off. Okay, Invasion, we get Ifara. Ifara comes in. Another +1 counter, let's put it on Ifara. And another +1 counter right there. Oh my god. Okay, proof of concept. Good game. Okay. I think we have a proof of concept right there. That actually worked out really well. Okay, so opponent goes first. We have Forest, Hushwood Verge, and Restless Prairie. Scavenger, Fear of Surveillance, Shelter by Ghosts, and Overlord. That looks pretty good. I'll keep it. Okay, opponent opens with an Undercity Sewers to surveil for 1. Alright, first turn. Oh gosh, I don't have access to white just yet. That kind of sucks. Yeah. Okay, well, in that case, we'll play the Restless Prairie for 1. Okay, we're gonna place another land. They play the Enigma Jewel. Interesting. Okay, so let's go and play a Forest. And then we'll play... Do you want to play this or the Fear? I think we'll play the Fear first. Okay, you surveil when it attacks. Okay, want to place a Swamp into Liliana. Okay.
No more distractions. Let's make this quick.
Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go Hushwood Verge. We're going to play Optimistic Scavenger first. And then we're going to play Shelter by Ghosts. And Shelter by Ghosts is going to eat Liliana.
It's no fun when they hit back.
Alright, opponent plays a Fabled Passage. They sacrifice the passage to go get a land. That land is an island. Chart a course. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card unless you attack this turn. Okay, I discard a card. Alright, I will play Forest, and let's see, I think I'll play a Calix. Calix sounds pretty good. Okay, target that creature. Target that creature again. Attack for 5 with lifelink. Pretty sweet. Okay, now we will take action, and we're going to put Shelter by Ghosts on Calix, and use that shelter to eat your Enigma Jewel. Then we're going to put another +1 counter here, and another +1 counter there. This is a little silly. I like it, but it's still silly. Alright, Fabled Passage. Sacrifice the Fabled Passage to go get a land. Terror Tide. Okay. Oh, they only managed to blow up one of my dudes, though. That's fine. Okay. Let's go ahead and play... Let's play Beza first. Actually, no. Do I want to even play Beza now? I think I just want to play Calix again. Target there. And there. Make them real big. Play land. Attack for 8. Bam! Calix is going to trigger. Take action. Make another copy right there. Eat that jewel again. +1 counters. Okay. I'm into this. I'm into this a lot. This is a fun deck. The Boros version of the deck might be a little bit faster. And the Orzhov version might have a little bit better removal. But I really think the Selesnya version might have some legs to stand on. But not with that mana. We gotta mulligan that. Okay, that's a little bit better. 2 planes, Scavenger, Sheltered, Calix, Enduring Vitality, and Overlord of the Hauntwoods. We're gonna keep 6. We're gonna send the Enduring Vitality back. Okay, is the opponent's first turn. They're playing a Greedy Freebooter. Okay, I'm gonna play this planes and play an Optimistic Scavenger. Play a Swamp into Hopeless Nightmare. Okay, so I will drop the Overlord. No blocks. Okay, my second turn is going to be Plains. I unfortunately have to do this right now so that I can get the Sheltered by Ghosts onto the Scavenger. Provided they don't have a removal spell for said Scavenger. They're holding priority. Torch the tower. Okay, that works. That absolutely works. Okay, they scried both those cards to the bottom. That's not good for them. Okay, they play another Freebooter. Alright, we take 1. Okay, so that gives them a turn to kind of catch up a little bit. It looks like they're not doing anything. Oh, they play Hopeless Nightmare. That's fine. Yeah, we'll discard this Plains. I'm okay with that. Okay, Razorridge Thicket to Calix. Calix comes in, put a +1 counter on Calix. Clockwork Percussionist? What the hell is that? 1/1 haste. When dies, exile a top card of your library. You may play it until the end of your next turn. Okay. Into Final Vengeance. Okay. Cool. It's gone. Land. I take 2 damage. Okay, so this is where things are gonna get a little awkward. I am out of creatures. I swear you better not beat me down with those 2 little dorks. Pass. 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 Yep. Take some damage. My turn. That's a land. Alright, well at least I got a blocker now. Next. Okay, he's gonna sacrifice his enchantment to scry. Oh, or maybe not. Alright. Activate the Restless Prairie. Go to blocks. I'm gonna torch the tower. Give the royal treatment. You do get to hit me for 2, but I don't lose my land. Disturbing Mirth. What the hell does that do? You may sacrifice another enchantment or creature if you do draw 2 cards. When you sacrifice Mirth, manifest Dread. Oh, that's a really good card. I like that. Ooh, here we go. Okay, let's take that. Let's go and do Enduring Innocence. Get rid of that. We might be able to turn this around now. Provided they didn't get more removal into their hand by drawing a bunch of cards. But I also have Ward 2 to kind of protect me. We'll see if it's going to be enough. Oh, Braids. That's pretty vile. Okay. Okay, they play Disturbing Mirth. Sacrifice the Freebooter. Draw 2 cards. Scry 1, make a treasure token. They sacrifice the Mirth. I have to sacrifice a card of the corresponding type. Decline. I'll take 2. Okay, I make a face down card. Alright, let's play Calix. Calix comes in. We get a copy there. Okay. Play the Restless Prairie. And we attack for 3. They take it. Okay, I will take action. We're going to choose a non-legendary enchantment, and it's going to be Shelter by Ghosts. Put it on Calix. Submit 1. It comes in, and we take Braids. And we target this creature with a +1 counter. Probably should have blocked the Enduring Innocence. Okay, they pay some mana. And, oh, they turn up Rottenmouth Viper. Shiza. She's a 1 permanent to sacrifice or discard a card. Interesting. Okay. Well, I guess we get rid of that Shelter by Ghosts. We lose 0 life for that. You get your Disturbing Mirth back. And I will not block. We take 6. That's fine. Because now I attack. And we're going to take your Rottenmouth Viper now. Take action. We're going to choose that. Sheltered by Ghosts. Attach it there. Take your Rottenmouth Viper. Target a creature. +1 counter there. Then we're going to play Fear of Surveillance. Put a +1 counter there. On the Fear of Surveillance itself. Ooh, Ethereal Armor. Pretty nice. Yeah. I'm going to play it right now. +1 counter there as well. That way they can't make me discard it. Okay, they play a Mountain. Into Urabrask's Forge. And Braids. Nice. Okay, they make a Forge token. Looks like they're going to their end step. I have to sacrifice an enchantment, so I'll sacrifice the Ethereal Armor. You're going to manifest Dread. Very nice. That's another Calix. Alright, Restless Prairie, activate. Attack. Surveil 1, throw that away. Don't need it. Get all that lifelink. All that lifelink damage. Bam, 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 bam. You go to 1. I go to 19. You get your Rottenmouth back, that's fine. I'll discard my Calix. Target creature is going to be you. I'm liking this. This is working out pretty well. Always 8 life this time. That's fine. No problem. Block there. Yep, you lose. Oh, that felt good. That felt really good. Nice. Good game. Good game, friend. Our opponent today is Graktor. We get to go first, and we have Razorverge Thicket, Plains, 2 Fear of Surveillance, an Ossification, a Royal Treatment, and a Calix. Let's go. Alright, first turn is going to be the Plains. Okay, our opponent plays a Dismal Backwater and gains 1 life. I will play Razorverge Thicket into Fear of Surveillance. Pretty decent card for only 2 mana. 2/2 Vigilance, Surveil 1 on the attack. Not bad. Alright, opponent plays a Darkslick Shores into a Voidwing Hybrid. Okay, so we know what deck this is. Alright, so we're going to go Forest, and then we're going to go Calix. Calix comes in, puts a +1 counter on the Fear of Surveillance, and then we attack for 3. Surveil for 1, throw that land away. We don't need it. Okay, take 3 damage. Okay, they play a Swamp. Very nice. Alright, and they are going to attack for 2. With Toxic 1. So we're going to get 1 poison counter now. Okay, so our turn, we're going to go next. We're going to attack for 5. Alright, we Surveil for 1. Enduring Vitality. We do have 2 green, so we can actually play it. So we'll keep it right there. Okay, they play Whisper of the Dross, put a -1/-1. I'm going to put Royal Treatment on this card. Okay, it works. +1 counter, we'll put a +1 counter on Fear. Spread the love around a little bit. Ooh, Serum Snare. Okay, cool. That works. Alright, pop him for 1. And we'll create a token and put it onto our friend right there. And also another +1 counter. And then I will play Ossification, targeting the Plains. And another +1 counter for our friend Calix. One good thing about Blue and Black is they don't have a whole lot of options for dealing with enchantments. They do have a few, but not a whole lot of really good ones. Okay, so next we will go and attack for 5. They can't target our creature very well, but they might have a sacrifice effect. If they have a sacrifice effect, then they can get around Calix. Okay, there's Vraska's Fall. That works. Okay, so we'll play Enduring Vitality. We are now at 3 poison counters. Alright, opponent plays Drown in Ichor. Alright, it goes away and becomes an enchantment. Alright, next up is going to be Optimistic Scavenger into a Fear of Surveillance. Put a +1 counter on the Optimistic Scavenger. Okay, they play a tap land, comes into play, gives them 1 life. Now they're at 4 mana and 3 cards in hand. Based off of what we've seen so far, they might have removal, they might have a counterspell. They probably need to draw some more cards. Okay, looks like they're passing the turn. Alright, so we'll play the Hushwood Verge, and then we will play an Enduring Innocence. You do! Reject Imperfection. That works for me. Okay, we'll get another poison counter. And we will attack for 4. Surveil 1. Shelter of Ghosts. I don't think that's going to be too good in this matchup. So send that away. Then we'll play another Fear of Surveillance. Put a +1 counter on said Fear. Okay, they still have only 3 cards in hand. Okay, they passed the turn. Cool. I will attack for 6. And we are going to Surveil 1 twice. Shelter by Ghost, send that away. Invasion of Theros. I'll keep that. Looks like a good card. Vraska's Fall. Alright, sacrifice the Scavenger. Go to 7. Play Brushland, and then play Beza. Get the card draw. And play Invasion of Theros. Go get Ethereal Armor. So the plan is to slap Ethereal Armor onto the smallest Fear of Surveillance in order to spread the power level around. All right, let's go there. Ethereal Armor onto this Fear. Bring the ending. Resolve. Okay, gets countered. That's fine. You're tapped out now, so you just lose. I will attack you in the face with creatures. Keep that right there. Boom, boom, boom. You put up a good fight. I'll give you that. Okay, Bona goes first. We have Hushwood Verge and Razor Verge Thicket for an Optimistic Scavenger, a Fear of Surveillance, an Ossification, a Beza, and an Overlord. I will keep. Put away a Swamp into a Hopeless Nightmare. I will discard the Overlord. Alright, Razor Verge Thicket into Optimistic Scavenger. Okay, to play Mishra's Foundry into another discard card. I will discard Ossification. Next up we have the Hushwood Verge for Fear of Surveillance. +1 counter on the Optimistic Scavenger and attack for 2. For Virtue. Okay. Goes to level 2 on the Talent. Alright, let's go Forest into Calix. Calix +1. Scavenger +1. Attack for 3. Alright, play a Swamp into Deep Cavern Bat. They're going to take my Beza. Alright, I lose 2 life. Perfect. Alright, play Plains. Attack. Like so. Okay, so let's go Rail Treatment onto the Optimistic Scavenger. Just to get an aura on it. Alright, swinging for a lot of damage. Yeah, take action. They just give up. Alright. Works for me. Okay, and we are back with the post-game wrap-up, and wow, this deck is so much fun. The play pattern of Optimistic Scavenger on 1 into either Shelter by Ghosts or Fear of Surveillance on 2 into a Calix on 3 is so just nasty on every level. Like the ability to make extra copies of Shelter by Ghosts or extra copies of Ossification, or hell, even just extra copies of Fear of Surveillance. It's so good. And like as an extra like combat trick, Royal Treatment leaves behind an aura. So if you really need to get Calix to trigger with an aura, and you don't have any other creatures with auras on them, you can just Royal Treatment one of your creatures to attach an aura to one of them that doesn't get blocked, and then boom, Calix makes another one. It's so silly. And these creatures get big. With so many enchantments coming into play over the course of the game, these creatures get downright huge by the counters that come in from Calix and Optimistic Scavenger. This is such a fun deck to play. Okay, enough gushing. MVPs. MVPs are absolutely Optimistic Scavenger, Shelter by Ghosts, and Calix. Like there's really no getting around that. Even though Calix is a legendary creature, he's still a 4 because he's so important to this deck. So that's your MVPs right there. As far as cards that we might want to change, Enduring Vitality feels a little bit weak when compared against Enduring Innocence, and Beza most of the time just ends up drawing you a card. So it's not the best. I might end up dropping the bases in favor of an extra overlord of each color. So that's something I might do a little bit later, but we'll consider that when we get to it. As far as like the actual creature breakdown, we're looking at 23 creatures and 13 non-creatures, so I don't think I want to go any lower on the creature count without adding more creatures in. So that's kind of where we're standing on that. Also, the Invasion of Theros is really good for getting you the right enchantment at the right time. So I'm thinking about changing some numbers around, maybe dropping one royal treatment in favor of what's the card? Here, let me find it. Flash. This one right here, Shard Mage's Rescue. I might do 1-in-1 of royal treatment and Shard Mage's Rescue, just because Invasion of Theros can get Shard Mage's Rescue. And also there is, what's the card? Shoot. It's 1 mana, it's green. I can't remember the name of the card though. So let's look it up. 1 enchantment. Go. Audacity, there it is. We might do 1 copy of Audacity as well, just because Invasion of Theros is really good at just digging up specific enchantments. So that may be something we go for in the future. But I'm waiting to play some more games, get some more testing in before I start going like the silver bullet route with Invasion of Theros. But aside from that, deck's damn good. The mana base is pretty strong too. 5 plains, 5 forests, 4 brushlands, 4 Hushwood Verge, 2 Razor Ridge Thicket, and 4 Restless Prairie. Honestly, the only land that comes into play tapped in this deck is the Restless Prairie. Everything else is an untapped land. It's good. It works. And now I just need to work on a sideboard to bring this deck into best of 3. So I think this is a deck you're going to be seeing on the channel at least a couple more times. This deck is a lot of fun, and I think I'm going to be playing it more. So you do have your Boros Auras version of this deck, and you have your Orzhov version if those are versions that you like more. But for me, I think I'm going with Selesnya. And that is not something I ever thought I would say. Selesnya is 1 color combination that I have historically stayed away from just because I didn't think it was strong. But this deck is making me reconsider that thought. So, there it is. That's the deck. I will leave a link to the deck list in the description box down below so you can take it out for a spin yourself, maybe iterate on it further, make your own changes to the deck, make it your own. And until next time, take care of yourself.